Welcome back, everybody, to Business Banter, episode 2 here. I'm Spencer Johnson, joined with my co-host, Mark Plymouth. And today we're going to be talking about a wide range of things, a little bit different than just, straight up business or straight up personal finance. But we're going to start off by just talking about why we think, or why one of us maybe at least thinks everybody should do YouTube as a side hustle, and just talk a little bit about our experiences with that. We're also going to talk about the recent Reddit blackout. Specifically, I know it definitely affects us more with the r/credit cards Reddit thread that, a lot of people in the credit card community use. And then we're also going to be talking about a little bit about my trip that I just took, just to, kind of get a little bit more of a personal insight into our lives. So, more than just what we think about money and finance. And then we do have one question from one of our Diamond members in our credit community Discord server, which y'all can always join. The link's in the description of all of these videos. So yeah, that's kind of where we're going to be headed today, and hope to, just have a good time, chat about this.
Should be pretty good. We were chatting a little bit before we started the recording, but let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So I don't know what your take is on this, Spencer, but I've talked about this before. I think literally everybody should have a YouTube channel. Like even if you're like a kid, like there's so much opportunity with YouTube. I think that it's kind of crazy in 2023 to not have one. There's something interesting in your life that you could talk about consistently and, create content. You could film on your phone and upload it and potentially make a lot of money. I think it's crazy to not do that. Like I personally have 3 different channels. I guess now technically 4 with this business banter. It's a little bit different. It's a podcast, but I have 3 channels and I'm contemplating starting a 4th. But I just think that there's unlimited opportunities from making content like that in general. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's
I think that it's definitely worth doing for the right person. I think I would agree with you in the sense that I think everybody should at least give it a shot. At the same time, I do realize that there's a lot of people out there that probably don't have the right personality for it necessarily. Like they don't even want to be on camera at all. But even then, I would still argue that you could have a YouTube channel. I mean, you see how people like MKBHD started, where he never showed his face for a year or something crazy. And you can make videos like that. You could technically have somebody voice over it if you wanted to, but I think your voice at least you could put in there.
I can't think personally of a better way to make money. You don't even have to call it a side hustle anymore. It's really can grow so far beyond that. Whereas most side hustles, it's really hard to scale them up. But I can't think of another business that you can start and grow so simply, right? There's a lot of work that goes into a channel that really grows and becomes successful, but the access to it in 2023 is ridiculous. If you haven't any phone that has recording capabilities, you can create content. Shorts blow up. There's channels. I was watching one the other day. These kids, way younger than me, probably your age, they're in Kentucky and they were doing the urban exploring stuff that I kind of like to do. Their channel has 123,000 subscribers. And I was like, there's no way. How? But some of their shorts had just blown up. I mean, they're just doing stuff that they normally would do. They're kids. They're 22. They're just doing normal stuff. But hey, let's bring the camera and try to engage an audience. Now, all of a sudden, they quit their jobs and they're doing that full time.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. And the fact that more people wouldn't think to do that still blows my mind. That's why I want multiple different channels. Everything that I'm interested in, I want to create content about it. Try to get other people interested in it as well, because there are people. And if I can make money from that, even better.
Right. Yeah, I definitely approach YouTube. Whenever I talk to people who are thinking about starting a channel, I always tell them to, not necessarily have money as the number one motivator, because if you do, you'll get burnout. But as you just kind of mentioned with those kids, with you, with all of your passions, I think that passion is the key word there, because if you don't have a passion for this stuff, it's a grind. Even with the passion, it's still a grind. If you're trying to do it in a way that you're going to eventually turn it into a business. But as for just getting started, I tell people if you have a hobby and you're okay with being on camera or even just having your voice, out there in the world, there's no reason to not start a channel and at least
Right.
have that opportunity to monetize. But yeah, I've known a lot of people who have gotten into YouTube only for the money and then gotten burned out really quick. And I think I was lucky in the sense
True.
that my passion was something that I could talk about on a consistent basis, at least a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also just happened to be in like the most profitable niche on YouTube, which is why I'm
Right.
able to do this as a business.
That
But
is true. I would wonder what so my RPMs for my Pioneer Disc Golf and Pioneer Productions channels are significantly lower than the Mark Plymel channel. So I'd be curious to know how much money those guys were making from their urban exploring content. It's kind of similar to what I do. I make somewhat like mini documentaries on places where they were just straight up kind of exploring. I wonder if that changes things. Whereas like advertisers could potentially want to place more ads in mine, but I guess it's still the same audience. I don't know. It
yeah,
is hard to really scale up and make a lot of money, but that's okay. Like you can still, when I first started YouTube, I definitely never planned on even getting to the level that I'm at now. I just thought that there's definitely a chance for me to get monetized. I know that barrier is doable. And then, what if I was bringing in a few extra $100 a month? Like, what if I made, $400 or $500 extra in AdSense or maybe a referral here or there or something sweet like that? That would really supplement, some of my life and help me out and take some of the pressure off me from my day job, which,
right.
I still do, but not as much as I used to because how well YouTube's done. So I think that, starting a channel and having those opportunities is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's amazing and something that if you're out there listening, you really should consider that. If you're looking for a way to make more money, I think starting there is the best way to do it.
Yeah. I think too, from the perspective of why YouTube in particular is such a powerful tool, in my opinion, is because not only like you were talking about earlier, can you do it from your phone? Can you do it by yourself? Can you do it in your free time?
Mhm.
But it's also like one of the only platforms where it's mutually beneficial for both the creator and the actual platform, which is really different than like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm somewhat plugged into like the Twitch community a little
Mhm.
bit. Like I've always watched like streamers on there. Um, but lately they've just been getting a ton of backlash because they're so like predatory towards their creators to where it's like not mutually beneficial. Like they're always fighting each other in a way. And that's why you see so many people coming to YouTube, even for like, video game streaming and stuff like that. Um, but I think it's interesting to see how the more people that make YouTube videos, the more videos that are out there for YouTube to put ads on, that's how they make their money from us, is from the ads that get placed on our videos. And then we also make money from those ads, and we just basically split it half and half pretty much.
Right.
And that's completely different than all the other social media platforms, which is why I think it's like it's not going to necessarily ever be like oversaturated either, because there's going to always be more ad dollars coming into it.
And there's always going to be more viewers. Like
Right.
how many people watch YouTube videos? I think I saw this might even be outdated, but it was 2 billion a month. Like 2
Yeah.
billion users, different unique users, not bots. Sure, there are some bots,
Yeah.
but 2 billion unique viewers, and they were up to shorts views were like 30 billion a day, like 30 billion shorts views a day, and that I think that might be a slightly outdated
Yeah.
information, which is insane. There's never going to be an end or like a lesser amount of viewers. That's in fact, I think it's going to go up. So yeah, if your content is decent enough, if you find the right niche and you at least put in a little bit of effort, then you can absolutely grow. And yeah, YouTube does want to help. Like YouTube wants to help you. They want you to also succeed because like you just said, that's them succeeding too.
Right.
So it
Right.
is a very mutual thing on both ends, the creator and the platform.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering too what your opinion is, since I know you are probably a little bit more in tune with like the short form content than I am. Even I'm still
Mm.
like somewhat hesitant on it in the sense that I don't post a lot of it, or I don't even produce it myself. I like to make that completely passive. And obviously people that might be considering starting a YouTube channel might see this amazing growth that can be had with shorts
Mm-hmm.
and think that that's like how they're going to make a ton of money. But I guess what is your take on that topic?
Ultimately, if you do want to make a lot of money, you do need long form content.
Mm-hmm.
Short form is awesome for exposure, getting views, getting subscribers, getting people to see some of your content. But ultimately the ad rates are too low to really sustain a livable income. I think my RPM on shorts, I think they're actually the same for everybody, which is kind of unique. Niches don't really matter for short form because all three of my channels all have the same RPMs on those shorts views, which is kind of interesting to note. Whereas with the regular long form content, they're wildly different.
Yeah.
But it's like 10 cents for 1,000 views. So, I mean, do the math. You need millions and millions and millions of views a month to sustain a life just off that. So you have to eventually create long form content and use short form early on to help drive engagement to your long form. I'm a huge fan of short form. I consume a lot of it and I like to make it. I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining, but cannot be your end all strategy. But you could, again, like I said, you could make a couple $100 a month doing it. If you were pretty good at making short form, it can supplement something. It's just not going to really take over and ever really dominate your income.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with that. That's, part of the reason that I haven't bought into it as hard. I think I've talked to you about this off air before, but part of my worry with it is that if I did have short form content start to really pop off on my YouTube channel, I don't know how well those audience members transition to the long form. And you see a lot of big creators out there now who have millions of subscribers, but they're getting, less views than us on a normal video. So it's like that disconnect is pretty large. And maybe that's just because they blew up right at the beginning of shorts. But I'm wondering, I guess, what your experience has been with that too, transition.
Yeah, my shorts, I've had lots of shorts get over, lots of views, a couple over 100,000. And this is just on YouTube. Like TikTok, I've had multiple over 100,000. And then they do subscribe, but yeah, they don't always go over to your long form. I do think you eventually can have two separate audiences. One that watches a little bit of your long form, but a lot of your short form. And then the other audience that watches a lot of your long form and a little bit of your short form. Ultimately, a view is a view, but those long forms just pay better and have more opportunities with them. So think like if your long-term strategy is to become a full-time YouTuber and do this as your main source of income, you got to focus on long-term, long form content. I think that has to be your main priority, but there's no reason to not create shorts.
Yeah. Right.
There's no reason not to. Although I will say Daniel Braun doesn't create shorts and he doesn't seem to be having any issues on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you can create, not everyone can create long form content like him. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
If you're really good at long form, you don't need short form. But for me, I need it.
Yeah. I definitely consider my long form to be like the foundation of my channel. Mm-hmm. And I put way more of my attention to it personally. But I do see the appeal of still posting short form. It's just another way to garner views from people. And it's a much more consumable way to get views. Definitely. I think it's definitely harder too for education channels to do shorts. I've found it for the most part, because entertainment, you can make some really crazy shorts. Like, for example, a credit card video, I would be surprised if it got over, or short, I'd be surprised if it got over 1 million views.
Yeah.
But you see entertainment channels getting hundreds of millions of views. So there is a little bit of a, for somebody that is thinking about starting to make a channel and everything, you do have to take into consideration what niche you're into so you can focus more on one versus the other. I imagine, I don't know if you think this, but I imagine that the long form or the entertainment channels have better conversions from short to long form, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not too sure.
I'd agree with that because I don't think short form should be used for education. I think it should be used for entertainment. Like even for my shorts where I'm, talking about, credit and stuff like that, the tips that I'm giving or the advice that I'm giving, the non-financial advice that I'm giving, it's very, bland. It's not that in depth because I only have 60 seconds and realistically I only have 30 seconds as I'm going to lose someone's attention pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's how it goes when you're scrolling through those. But yeah, they shouldn't be used for trying to entertain or trying to educate. It should be a quick entertainment thing. See it, smirk, like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. And then tap the like button, tap subscribe, and then move on.
Yeah.
That's kind of what short form is. Whereas like when you click on a long video, you want an experience. You want to be able to watch it, learn. When the video is over, hopefully you've learned something new, and you have new solid information to base your thoughts on.
Yeah, I think that's probably why for like my channel, for example, we were talking about this before we started recording, like my unboxing video or shorts do really, really well because it's just like quick dopamine. That's all it is.
Yes.
You know, and I do my unboxings like 10 to 20 seconds. Like that's how long they are. And they do well.
They do very well.
You're just watching them and, you know, doing whatever. And you know, doesn't matter where you are, you can watch one of those. But
that just shows me again that you could easily start a YouTube channel and be successful. Like you can, to get in the partner program with just shorts, you still need 1,000 subscribers, but you would need 10 million short views in 90 days.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So that's a lot. You know, that is a lot. But if you're making entertaining content, like you just said, I mean, there's so many of those entertainment style shorts that have tens of millions of views. If you're making one a day, set aside 30 minutes to an hour of your day max, create content, you know, do that 30 days in the month. You could easily get a monetized channel just from creating shorts quickly. And then you could do that, continue to do that every day. And you'd make it probably 100 or 200, maybe a little bit more than that, dollars per month. I don't know if that's a great ROI, but could scale up.
And I think it goes back to that. If you have a passion for it, even any bit of money will feel worth it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was kind of my thing. It was like, if I could earn any kind of money from talking about something that I already want to talk about on a daily basis, then I mean, that's just a win-win.
Isn't that the dream? I mean, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. And I think just going back to the beginning of that, for anybody that wants to start a channel, I don't know what advice you would have, but just like quick advice. I have been telling people, and I keep forgetting this, so I want to say it now while I'm thinking about it. Whenever I got started, I watched a Skillshare course from Ali Abdaal. I don't know if you know who that is, Mark, but
I know that is. He's the big he kind of makes like lifestyle content.
He does like productivity, I guess lifestyle would kind of fall into that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd always just watched him casually, but you could sign up for like a free trial for Skillshare and watch his like 4-hour course. It's literally just like how to start a YouTube channel. And through that course, he has you post your first video. And that's like what got the ball rolling for me. And I know a lot of people ask about how to get started. And that's what I recommend because it worked for me. But I don't know how you took the leap because I know that's a big deal for people.
How I took the leap into starting YouTube?
Yeah, even just starting it.
I literally just got my phone, set it up. I'd watched enough videos. I'd seen people like Graham say, you really should just start Think Media. They always are like, just hit record. And that's what I did. I was finally like, I'm just going to try it.
Yeah.
No clue what I was doing. Had I even taken a week or two to research, I would have probably done better early on, like quicker. But I just kind of bulldozed my way forward and continue to make crappy video after crappy video until I figured out how to actually make a video. And then I started to grow.
Yeah. And you
can't do everything.
Yeah. I think I might fall on the opposite side sometimes where I like overanalyze too much, which is probably good that we balance each other out in that way. But for me, it was like I had thought about starting a channel for even longer than, you know, I was still pretty young when I started it, but I thought about it for a long time. So I get stuck in the analysis paralysis. And I think you kind of got to get out of that for sure to start a channel.
I've never been that way. I'm literally, once I have an idea, if I think it's worth it, I'm bulldozing my way in. I'm going in. I'm going to give it my all, do my absolute best that I can at the time. But then I will like make those measurable changes. I'm not going to, if I was continuing to still make the exact same style videos that I was making nearly 4 years ago, that would be bad.
Yeah.
But I continue to try to make little improvements each time. And
it works out. Yeah, exactly right. That's awesome. Yeah, I know we've talked about this too. I know we want to have guests on to maybe talk more about this YouTube and YouTube strategy and what kind of money can be made from it. And I don't know if we want to really leak much of that, but this is a topic I could talk about for our whole episode. And I know not everybody's going to care as much about it,
right?
But I do really like this stuff. So
we're definitely going to bring, there's a couple guests that we definitely have lined up and a couple more people that we're going to reach out to. I'm super excited about that one. I don't know if I want to say him.
Yeah, I guess we can leave for now. People will guess, I'm sure.
Guess down in the comment section below if you're watching on YouTube. Guess who you think our very first guest will be on the Business Banter podcast.
Yep.
So he was right.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. Um, yeah. Do you have any
What
other
about?
thoughts on this, or?
Nah,
Yeah,
we can save a little bit more for another episode.
I know.
I want to talk about how good and bad the Reddit thing is, because the Reddit blackout, which for those of you who may not know, you probably have heard this, but Reddit has had lots of issues, and all of their moderators are, I guess, blacking out the subreddits, which basically means Reddit is unusable. At least most of it is unusable. But it's kind of been a good thing for our Discord. I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's like sucks because Reddit is such a wide variety of information for so many people, and so many people get so much value from it. But I will say that it has been pretty helpful for our Discord, the credit community.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like it's bringing awareness to the fact that there are other ways to get information.
Mhm.
And what I really like about the Discord is that it's more live than Reddit. Reddit,
Right.
you're talking to people all day, but it's like it's much more clunky in my opinion than just like I'm going to ask a question right now in a chat where 300 people are typing right now and I'm going to get an
Mhm.
answer. Like that's pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you a big Reddit user? Have you used Reddit for not even just credit? Like, do you ever go to Reddit subreddits in general just to learn or to engage?
Yeah, so I'm not. I guess first of all, we probably should talk too about like what it is in case somebody has no idea what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically just a forum is the best way I would describe it, like a live forum where you can basically just ask questions and talk to people in subreddits or what they're called, or like threads, basically.
It's a big long thread, and the thread has a general theme, and then you can go into that general themed thread and ask a question, and then you'll
Right.
get, typically, I think that the replies are always seem to be so smug. I'm not a big Reddit fan. Every time I read replies on stuff that I look up, there's always someone who's so smug.
Yeah.
They give the most rude answer, and they act like they call him like the OP, or the original poster is like the biggest idiot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I've
always think
definitely
that
seen
the
that.
environment on Reddit is very negative from my experience.
Yeah, so I've never back to what you asked me to. I've never been a like power user. I've never posted to Reddit. I don't have an account, nothing like that.
Mhm.
But I do actually use Reddit a decent amount when it comes to honestly like researching for videos in a way because I know that I can get like a more real answer from a community than I can um from just like Google, some
Sure.
blog out there that's just getting paid to post something.
Sure.
But I've obviously these days, if I want an immediate answer, I would usually just go to the Discord and ask in
Mhm.
there and just see what our community is actually saying because we're people that are posting right now compared to somebody that might have asked a question 7 years ago that you're seeing on Reddit.
True.
But yeah, usually like for any just like day to day things in my life too, if I need like a more honest answer, I'll just go to like type in whatever question I have and then just put Reddit at the end and just view it from there. And now I can't see any of those, especially the credit card ones. I've noticed I'm always blocked out of them, which is really annoying.
So
Uh,
what I was reading a little bit about it. Do you know why this is happening, or like why the moderators are closing or blacking out these subreddits?
yeah, kind of. I watched Proud Money made a video on it too,
Yeah.
which kind of discussed it pretty quickly. But to my understanding, it's basically just that Reddit has been practically open source for all this time, where they've been letting companies use their like API for free.
Mhm.
So basically, just giving out all their information for free.
And the API is like their data, like
Right.
your user data, like all the people who use. What kind
I
of
don't know if
data
it's
is it?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if it's that kind of data or if they're somehow I don't know exactly how what data they're getting from them, to be honest
Okay.
with you. I wonder if it's like partially to that, like even with like Google, for example, the fact that I can go in without an account and just read answers on there and like do all these things with no account, no nothing. I feel like that maybe could be part of it too,
I
to where
see.
they want to like actually profit from the people that are using it. Um, but yeah, so to my understanding, they've basically just been shutting all of those down because they need to get paid,
Right.
basically. Like,
Yeah, I think they don't like make any money, and they were trying to go public, and they like can't. They don't have any money, and
yeah,
that's like one of the reasons where they were going to so you can buy Reddit stock. But yeah, I can from what I might be wrong on this, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, I don't really see it as that big of a deal. Like a company that provides a really useful service wants to potentially profit from that.
Yeah.
or at least make some money. I maybe I'm just not informed enough. If someone could explain it to me better in the comments, that would be awesome. But from what I can see, I don't really have a big issue. Like the moderators want to get paid, but I mean, no one's making them be a moderator, right?
That's the other
I feel
side
like
to
you
it
do it
too.
for fun. I think you want to engage in the community more, and you have the free time to do it, and you want to. If you don't want to do it, just don't do it.
Yeah, I wonder too, like if they've literally been making no money, that's obviously an issue. I wonder if they sell ad space or anything. Like I said, I don't
I've never
use it
seen ads.
frequently.
I've never seen ads on Reddit. And there's like another app called Apollo, which it's basically just Reddit, but a much more enhanced version of it. And Apollo has been able to just kind of thrive off of just using the Reddit platform, but just in a
Okay.
cleaner way. So Reddit is like, we can't keep doing this. I mean, we're literally like not making any money from this.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not sustainable.
And once you have competitors like that coming up in the market, maybe they're the ones that are using Reddit's data, like specific companies like that.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Apollo is the one I definitely know about. It's like the better version of Reddit. Still using all of Reddit, but it's a cleaner, better user platform way.
And probably with AI and everything out there too, now they're not wanting to give out all their information just for free, which makes sense to me. If it's just a fact of like the mods are wanting to get paid, that's one thing. But if they're trying to go public and do all these things, they're just a company providing a service that does deserve some kind of payment. And I don't think that would be passed to their users that much.
I don't think they would ever charge a fee for you to get on Reddit. I think they actually, there's ways where you can spend money on Reddit. You can definitely buy like tokens and give out tokens for like really good answers. And I don't know, it's kind of weird, but there are definitely ways where Reddit makes some money. But yeah, letting any different company like open source into their data and use that, I don't really see it as that big of a deal that they want to charge for that.
I'm in agreement too. Whenever I was watching Adam's video about it, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, I don't know what side I necessarily fall on, but I can definitely see the argument for Reddit wanting to make money. That makes sense to me.
And if there's more information that I don't know about, and that Reddit's actually being really shady in this, I'm just unaware. That's my opinion from what I know right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the beauty of a podcast is we can be completely wrong about this.
Just don't take it as gospel. I can still just talk right into the mark, right into the mic. I can just keep talking.
Yeah, this could all be wrong, but you can always correct us.
Comment section, that's what it's designed for.
Exactly. But going back to how it's affected even just the Discord too. I feel like we've seen a bit of a like surge of users into it because they want that kind of.
We've seen like a ton. Let me find our member list.
Yeah,
we've had like
I think
we're 4,431 members.
Yeah,
you became an owner on June 1st. That's like when it was official. So that was 3 weeks ago, and I don't think we're at even 4,000 subscribers yet, or 4,000 channel members just yet.
Yeah.
And so almost 500 in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
which is pretty good considering the size of the server is still not all that large.
No, yeah, I think it was still under. Yeah, it was under 4,000. It's pretty crazy, and it's just also like the activity is what I love about it too, because even with 4,000 plus members, you have a lot of inactive members in there that might have joined once and never came in again, which is annoying. Whenever it inflates the numbers too much.
Yeah, we want everyone to chat.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been days where I've been in there and it's like constant messages going, and I love that because you can just jump in wherever you want and start talking to people. And is this a bit of self promo for our Discord? Yeah, but I genuinely think it's like one of the most valuable places you could be in the credit community.
Right now, there's over 300 members online.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you came in right now with a question, you could go straight into the credit card channel, ask your question, guaranteed within less than a minute, you will get an answer. That is sweet. I mean, that is a very useful thing it's grown. And I really do think it definitely a lot. You helped a ton right when I asked you and you came in. You've done such a good job with the changes that you implemented and we've talked about. And also just, you're promoting it. You're promoting it on your channel. That's helped a ton. But the Reddit thing has definitely helped in other ways because we've seen it. That's why we want to talk about it for this podcast. People have mentioned that.
Yeah.
Like, r/churning was down.
Yeah.
And then people are like, I didn't even like churning anyways. This is better. It's been really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, in the Discord, if you haven't ever been in any Discord before, it serves somewhat the same function and works somewhat in the same way in the sense that you can post in different channels instead of just threads or subreddits, I guess. Um, so we do have it split up into like credit cards and travel and a bunch of different categories that you can chat in. So it's just been a place that for me I think is really fun to just go and actually just chat with people. There are people in there, like a select number of people that are in there every single day, all the time, that are willing to chat, and a lot of them love credit cards. They love the points and miles game. They love business in general. So it's been a good time to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at it right now while you're talking, I'm scrolling through it. I mean, every channel has someone talking in it.
Yeah,
it's I'm blown away. I'm blown away by how it's grown. I mean, I started it back at the beginning of 2022, and after a month or so, I asked Daniel to come on, be a co-owner, and that helped it grow a lot. And then we brought you on about a year and a half after it started, and now look at it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and there's so many different things we want to continue to do with it. I mean, we can continue to talk about it all we want, but I do know that we're going to take a question from one of our Diamond members later that we can talk a little bit more about why they're getting their question answered and what that membership even means. But I guess for now on this Reddit topic, I do think it's opened people's eyes to seeing that you might want to also be on other platforms, not just Reddit, which has been here forever and it's a proven business model in a sense. But there are newer ways that you can chat with people more live, and it's been a great time. So I'd recommend y'all join if whether you're listening or watching on YouTube. You can check out the link for it in the description of the YouTube video. So
links always in the description.
Yep.
Totally free to join. We do have that paid membership.
Yep.
If you want it.
Yep.
Exactly. But so moving on to our next section, tell me a little bit about your trip, because I know you kind of went to my area in a way, the Appalachian Mountains, right? I mean, I'm in Kentucky, but it's that whole chain over there. Where'd you go?
Right. Yeah, so I went to I flew into Atlanta, so I was in Georgia. For those that don't know, and I was hiking up in the northern part of Georgia. We drove. My cousin lived in Decatur, which is I think 30 minutes north of Atlanta, and then we hiked around Dahlonega. I think it's kind of where we hiked on Blood Mountain. It's just crazy names all around, but that's where we were hiking.
Blood Mountain. Where did you get that name? That's crazy.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of Native American history there, so a lot of the names in that northern part of Georgia are super reminiscent of that, and that cool. English takes on old Native American words. But it was a great time. I unfortunately didn't use my points or miles to get there, so I can't talk about it from that perspective. But yeah, it was a little hiking trip I did for Father's Day with my uncle and my two cousins. So it was a pretty good time. But
that's awesome, definitely. Man. You a big hiker? Is that something you normally do for a trip like that, or is that something random that you've done?
Yeah, with them we do. We've hiked in camped in Colorado at the peaks of mountains and stuff like that.
That's sick.
Usually try to do at least one trip like that a year. I feel like with them, or whether we've done scuba diving trips and stuff like that too. So it's kind of always active. But my uncle's a massive hiker. That's him and his buddies have been doing that for 20 or 30 years. So
that's sweet.
He always brings us along now, but yeah, he guides us through all of it. We did hike some of the Appalachian Trail, however you say it.
Yeah. I think I say Appalachian.
Yeah.
Appalachian.
Who knows?
But that's my area. Whenever I go, from where I'm at in Lexington, if I go 30 minutes to the east, I mean, I'm hitting the mountains. Yeah. I go there a lot. Probably actually going to go there this weekend. I love it. Definitely one dream, one goal. I would love to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. Doubt it'll ever happen. Might. But yeah, it's a month or multiple month long thing. To go all the way from down in Georgia where it starts. Yeah. All the way up to basically Maine. It's nuts.
Right.
1,700 miles, something like that. It's very far.
Yeah, I can't remember. We literally just talked about it too, but we met a lot of people that had through hiked it, at the not outposts, but I don't know what you call them. But yeah, at the I guess it was kind of at the start of it, really.
Yeah,
where we were at. they had all of their employees had through hiked the whole trail. So
That is unbelievable.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
I think it is like almost a 6-month thing or something crazy.
It's
like
very long, and it's like you have to start at the right time of the year, because once you hit winter, especially once you get up to the northeast portion of it, I mean, you can't hike, dude. It's snow. It's awful weather. So you have to time it up to like start in spring.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're done by fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. How do you have the time to do that? I mean, I guess like even with YouTube, like
you can't even post whenever you're out there.
Yeah. And like, don't you need money? Like, I guess I could live for 6 months without income, but
if you don't have a
I'd make a little bit, but I don't know, man. How do they do that? I always thought like people who hike Mount Everest too. That's a massive endeavor. It takes them months.
Yeah.
Do they have jobs, or do they have bills? Or are they just very wealthy and they just kind of get to do? I don't know. I always wondered how you have the funds to do that.
Yeah, I guess you'd think that maybe they're either retired or like in college where they don't have much responsibility anymore. But both of those demographics wouldn't probably be wanting to do that hike. So I don't know. That's interesting to think about. But
I don't think that's not a hike that I would ever want to do. I don't care about that. I'll just see the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I like hiking when it's like 60 degrees through the woods.
It's exactly what it was whenever we were there.
That's good with me.
Nice. Yeah, definitely want to go back or just go and do it some more. So maybe I'll have to come up to Kentucky sometime. And
dude, you should. Kentucky is underrated. I'm going to plug Kentucky. It has a lot of cool. The state parks here are so cool. The entire Daniel Boone National Forest is worth coming to see. The Red River Gorge is amazing. No, it's not Colorado. No, it's not Utah. But there's really, really cool scenery things to see.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like it.
Yeah. Do you have any trips coming up that you'll be taking?
My wife's mother-in-law is getting remarried, and we're going to the Bahamas for that in December. So that's like the one big trip that we've got planned, like December, like early in that month. Full week going to the Bahamas. I can't remember the name of the island. Not Nassau. It's one of the ones actually a little bit more northeast of Nassau. Saw it on the map. It's really, really nice place. Got like this big house. It's not gonna be a big wedding, like 30 people, but we're renting this like big condo-ish house region where it's got like a big pool, but it's just for us.
That's cool.
Community pool, community hot tub. Really excited about that. I'm gonna make some content there, but the Bahamas have rules where, like, for my drone, I have to register it, and like I have to apply to be able to bring my drone to the Bahamas early in advance, like months. So it's something I have to start thinking about, because I definitely want to fly the drone and film really, really cool stuff.
Yeah,
but it's kind of interesting that a country has rules like that. Like if I try to bring it in, they would like seize it if I don't have the right paperwork.
Jeez, that's kind of crazy. Is it going to be a trip where you're like posting it to your normal channel, or is it more of a trap, like a?
I'm going to do both. So it's definitely going to be 2 different videos. Because we're going to pay for our flights, but we're going to use points. So I'll talk about that. But the hotel, I don't think we'll end up having to pay anything for that, or the lodging situation. We won't have to pay for that. But I can at least talk about the flights, and I can find a way to make it a main channel video. But definitely I'm going to do some stuff for the Pioneer Productions channel. Drive around the island, show off some of the really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't have a big trip like that coming up. I'm going to Charlotte pretty soon, North Carolina.
Nice.
I keep wanting to tell people when I'm going, but that's probably not smart, so I'm not going to say it. But then, are you going to Vegas for the creator meetup? I don't think you are, but
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. My summers, I know that's like at the Labor Day time frame. But I've all of a sudden, I'm teaching 30 plus tennis lessons a week.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I didn't expect it to happen, but I've just been getting so many texts. And so many people want to hit. And I'm having a hard time saying no right now. I'm really enjoying it. But I haven't decided yet on that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still have to book my trip, but I'm still planning on going.
You got a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be.
I know there's a lot of the guys going, and I feel like if I don't go, I'll regret it. But I'm still like right there on the fence, like 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be the only other trip I think I have this year. Oh, I'm supposed to maybe be going to Europe though still this year, which is like I need to book that already. But
where to in Europe?
I think it's like Prague, Vienna, Austria, or something like that.
Well, just for fun.
For fun. My uncle, the same one I'm talking about,
Okay.
he's big. I think I've talked to you in our Creator Conversations episode,
Yeah.
which people should watch if they haven't seen that yet, because it's like more of this basically, kind of me interviewing you. But he is a big history buff, and
Oh yeah, he took
now
you all to that
travels.
Civil War fort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So he's the
remember
one I
that
was
story.
hiking with all weekend. So every time we
Okay.
got to like some kind of monument, he took a picture. We went to like multiple cemeteries. He was taking pictures. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Dude, that's
He
gonna
doesn't.
be me, man. I don't know what I'm saying. That's already me. I do that same stuff. I guess I'm
Yeah.
old.
No, I don't know what it is with him, but he's funny. But yeah, that was really the only other trips I have coming up. But I think I'm gonna bring Luke onto the channel to help me look at booking that Europe trip. So that should be fun.
Yeah. He'd be good with that. He knows he can get you a good deal.
Yep. So that's the plan for now. I'm actually supposed to record with him tomorrow, so that'll be
Nice.
fun.
That'll be something to look forward to. Is that going to be a creator conversation?
No, it'll just be
Did another
just like kind of what I do with RJ, where I've done like a couple just like 15, 20 minute videos with them, something like that. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
You want to field that? What was the question that we got from our Diamond member?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull that up just so I don't butcher it on accident. But it did come.
So we can shout them out.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that for sure. But if you want to explain what the Diamond status is, so people know in case they want to do something like this.
Yeah. So Diamond status is our paid membership in our credit community Discord. It's $4.99 a month. It allows access to the premium lounge, premium stage, and the premium voice chat. But the biggest allure to it and the biggest reason why people are willing to pay for that is because it allows access to post your personal referral links for credit cards, bank accounts, brokerages, whatever. You're allowed to post those once a week as long as you engage in chat a little bit. We've had issues in the past where when we first announced the paid membership, people would just kind of join and just plug their links in and they would just ghost and never be around. But we never opened that up to make money. You know, if we wanted to make money, we could just make the entire server paid. It was never about that. It was trying to keep the server clean and not having people just drop links and only be in there to drop links. We want people to actually provide value. So those members, they pay $4.99 a month and you can post your links. And a lot of our members, I think that one guy, the Asian 101, I wish I had it screenshotted, but he said that he's maxed out like multiple of his different Amex cards. So I mean that if you're thinking 55,000 points, Amex points for multiple cards, we'll call it over 100,000 MR points. That's almost $2,000 in value, depending on how you redeem your points off of a $4.99 membership. But to be fair, he is extremely engaging in the community and one of our better members.
Yeah.
So there's a way for you to earn your value back. So premium membership is worth it if you actually want to engage in the community. If not, no need to do it.
Right. And I think the other, you might have mentioned this while I was looking for the question, but we are trying to add a lot of other stuff to it that makes it worth it for people that don't even care to post their referral links and just want to support in a way, but also just be a bigger part of the community. One of the ways being that we're going to be fielding questions from the Diamond members every single week. So if you want to ask questions that are featured on this, you can always do that. And I guess that's really it for now, but we're going to continue to add a bunch of stuff. So that's just one.
It's still relatively new. It's only been around for a handful of months and we want to make it better.
Yep. So. But I do have the question here. We should probably add a screenshot of this in post too. I should have prepped it before, but that's all right.
That'll be easy.
But it comes from Ninja, who I don't know about you, but he's been somebody that's actually been active just in my DMs and stuff. I've talked to him a lot. He's a good dude, and he's been active in the community a lot recently too. But he asked, what are some of the reasons it does and does not make sense to open an LLC, and what are the pros and cons in contrast to remaining a sole proprietor? So it is a business question. Didn't have to be, but that's another note too. If you want to ask us questions and you're a premium member listening, it can be about whatever. So But yeah.
I was hoping they would ask us like what our favorite ice cream is, but I guess we can get into business content on the business banter. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, we can do it, I guess.
So basically, just wants to know like why you would ever like do a sole prop or why you would ever do an LLC.
Yeah, why you would jump from a sole prop to an LLC? Like, what are the pros and cons against?
You're basically just separating your business from yourself. As a sole proprietor, you are yourself and you are the business. But once you incorporate, once you LLC, you actually file those articles of incorporation, you've now separated yourself from your business. It's limited liability for you now all of a sudden. So I think it's really not always necessary. It depends on what kind of business you're running.
Right.
But I think for the YouTube stuff, it did make a lot of sense. I incorporated. Do you have an LLC? Yeah.
Yep.
I think if you're making any money and it's something that you're going to continue to try to grow and pursue, that it does make sense to go ahead and get an LLC. You don't have to, though. It makes it easier to get things like business bank accounts.
Right.
It makes it easier to get things like business credit cards. You don't have to. I've definitely gotten approved for plenty of business credit cards as sole prop, but it does legitimize things in a way.
Yeah. I think on that note, it also helps in a way for those credit card enthusiasts that are listening. You can get multiple of the same credit cards under a sole prop and an LLC now. So that does help if you're really like churning, which I know is not a word we probably should say too much on here. I know YouTube doesn't like it, but if you want to get a lot of bonuses, you
maximize your bonuses.
Right. But opening an LLC does help a lot with that. For me, it was the sole purpose of I'm making money now. I want to make this an actual entity of some kind to separate it from myself, give myself some protections, even though I'm sure the corporate veil could be pierced on, because I'm not doing everything exactly by the books probably. But at the same time, it has helped a lot with me separating out, some of that liability.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd say it's something that is worth it. Like you said, if you're starting to make money, I mean, the cons of it are that it does cost money to do it. Like, I don't know about you, but for me in Texas, I think the state cost to file an LLC was like $300, which is not bad.
Really?
I know other states are a lot higher.
Wow. In Kentucky, it's $40. I guess they're desperate for people to start businesses. Yeah, $40, which kind of makes sense. I think they, like, I would imagine there's tons of entrepreneurs in Texas, whereas in Kentucky, I would imagine there's less. Obviously, just because there's less people, but like per capita, I would imagine those numbers would be significantly lower for Kentucky. It's only $40 to start one, which is nuts.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I know in like California too, it's like double Texas.
Gotta be. Yeah, again, like one of those states where I don't think they have a shortage on people starting businesses.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that's the one downside. Maybe in another, if you're not in a state that I think Ninja's from Texas as well. So that's my experience with it. I did pay for a service to help me just do it all. I think I paid an extra like $100 or $200 to have them just set it up for me, and I just put in my information and they did it.
That's kind of worth it. Yeah. I mean, if it made things easier, streamline the process, you didn't miss anything or mess anything up. I think that's typically a paid service like that is fine.
Yeah. So I guess that's really all we have to cover on that, just to not get too in the weeds with it, unless you have something else. The funny thing is I just got another message from a premium member if we want to
perfect
field that, like literally just now.
The only thing I'll say about that sole prop thing, also within LLC, it does open the door for you to set up an S Corp, which is something that I would love to do down the line, where you can start, because the LLC and the sole prop, your taxes are still the same. You're still paying the same amount of taxes. It's not, some people get that confused. They're like, oh, if you get an LLC, you pay less taxes. That's not true. I pay a lot in taxes. But you do have the ability to set up an S Corp, which means you're basically paying yourself a salary. And that can help with your taxes. Instead of all of that revenue just in your business being taxed immediately, you can start to pay yourself a set salary, which can lighten up your tax burden.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned
that's
that
another
too.
step.
Another thing too, I think that it's a slight misconception in the sense of like, what is a sole prop? Because people, I don't think really understand. I mean, I probably don't fully understand what it is, but the way I explain it is that you're basically just your own business. Like you are already a sole prop right now, which is why in our videos, you can say like anybody can get approved for a business credit card because you just use your social security number. Like you said, though, for tax purposes, since I'm a single member LLC and I don't have multiple people owning my LLC, I literally just report everything on my personal tax return.
It's all the same.
And you can also, if you're just a sole prop, you can still write off business expenses. So you don't have to open an LLC to write off expenses. Right. So don't do it for that reason. But
sole prop is totally fine. If you are making money doing anything that's not a W-2, like it's not your day job where you actually are an employee, something separate from that, and you're in a 1099 or getting paid in a certain way like that, you're a sole prop already.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a mandatory thing, but really that liability separation is the biggest thing, and the opportunities it presents you down the line, but it's more just a hedge for me, at least.
Yep. It's a personal choice if you want to do it or not. You definitely don't have to.
Yeah.
But I personally am glad that I did it.
Yeah, same. It was kind of annoying to just do it, but then once I did, it's just been, I haven't had to do anything for it.
It's a lot of extra work. Yeah, it definitely was initially. And then getting the bank account with the federal tax ID number. Yeah, it was a little, I had to go into Chase and like set that up. It was a little bit of an extra process, but done.
Yep. Is what it is. But I guess real quick, we might as well take our second question, which came from Dell, who I think he has actually been in here for a while, and he's like kind of sometimes really active, sometimes not so much, but I have seen his name pop up a lot recently, which is good. And
I know that guy.
Yeah,
I've seen him.
Yeah, he's been around a good amount. And his question was, if you could travel somewhere with all expenses paid, where would you go? It's a very popular question in my Q&As too, so I'm interested to hear
all expenses paid, where would you go? I would go to Scotland. That's where my family's from. My mom's dad was born in Scotland, and I know the town, but I would go to Scotland. I would definitely want to see that. Fly into London, take a train up to Glasgow, and then like rent a car and drive to towns like called Kelty. It's kind of near Edinburgh, however you say that. I think it's Edinburgh. Yeah. But yeah, I would just kind of go all around Scotland. I would drive up to like the very top city. It's called like Inverness. All throughout the entire country. It's been like 2 to 3 weeks traveling around Scotland.
That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, I think for me and all my Q&As, I've always just said this changes it a little bit because it's all expenses paid. But I feel like I should at some point go to the countries like Greece or Italy because I have not even been to them. And if you went like on a really nice trip to like Italy and then you could even just drive around from there or train around from there, that would be pretty sweet just because I've never been. And there's so much history too in like Rome and everything. And I'm also really big into, well, this doesn't necessarily apply, but for Greece at least, I'm big into like the Greek mythology stuff too, or just mythology in general. I always grew up with that for whatever reason, which is why my dog's name is Odin, which is a Norse mythology thing. But
dang, you are into it.
Yeah, I mean that was also because of just Marvel too, honestly.
Yeah,
like Thor and Odin, but a little bit of a mix. But yeah, so I'd probably say something like Italy. I mean, what's like the most expensive place in the world? Like, isn't it like Switzerland or something crazy or something weird like that?
Switzerland has got to be. I don't know.
I've watched some travel channels that go to places where they're like, this is extremely expensive. So maybe there, if all expenses are paid.
There's all, yeah, exactly. Wherever you can get the biggest bang for that free dollar, I guess. Exactly. I would, yeah, for me, it's still just Scotland. I mean, I definitely want to go to other places in Europe. But I've been dying to go there. Gotta plan it. Gotta get a trip planned to go there.
Yeah, you should. Definitely. I definitely want to start traveling more now that I'm doing YouTube full time. So this month has been the first part of that in a domestic way, but now I'll be trying to take it elsewhere.
There's still places in the US that I haven't gone that I want to go. I guess this is a little trip. This isn't a big place that I'm going, but this is for my Pioneer Productions channel. It's in West Virginia. The name's terrible, but that's what it's called. It's the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. No joke. That's what it was actually called.
Jeez.
And it's in like basically dead center of West Virginia. It's like 4 hours away from me. And it was built in like 1864, and people were admitted for the most ridiculous reasons, like husbands would admit their wives if they like weren't cooking or
Oh,
like if
wow.
they were being like naggy.
That's
Like
crazy.
the most ridiculous things ever. Or like if people had like headaches or stomach aches, they would just admit them to this lunatic asylum, which again, that's not what I'm calling it. That is the actual name of the place.
Yeah, that's
Um,
wild.
but now it's open for tours. It's like a huge, big, sprawling complex. And I love things like that. I mean, I think obviously terrible stuff went down there, and I feel bad for everybody involved. But now the history is undeniably interesting,
Yeah,
and I'm definitely going to there. And throughout the fall, I'm going to look around for other places like that. I went to 2 places last year, so I'm going to try to find at least 2 or 3 more like that to go to. Smaller
gotcha.
trips, but still trips nonetheless.
Yeah, that's kind of like going back to the first episode, which y'all should watch if you haven't yet. I was talking about the kind of van life camper living situation I might be doing. Part of me wants to do it for that reason of like I haven't
Yeah,
seen any of the U.S. or I've seen some of the U.S. but mostly just the coasts. I've never gone just straight up
yeah.
really. So I think it'd be cool. It's also funny that you say that you can get to West Virginia, the middle of West Virginia, in 4 hours. Because for Texas, you're not getting very far for us with 4 hours. You cannot get to
Texas
the
is
outside of
huge,
Texas.
dude. Texas is massive. And it would actually be less time consuming, but you're on I-64 and you're just bobbing and weaving
Mm.
through the mountains. I mean, it's just all mountainous terrain. You
I
go
guess
through
that's
Huntington to Charleston and then up and deep into the mountains.
I guess that's a cool drive though, at least.
I
Hopefully.
love it. I think
Yeah.
my parents are both from West Virginia,
Hmm.
and we used to go there all the time growing up.
That's cool. Yeah, some fun stuff coming up for everything. But man, I think we've already been going for longer than I thought we would be.
Super long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
funny. We planned a shorter episode. We're like, let's make this episode like 45 minutes long. Pretty sure we're at least hitting the hour mark now, which I guess
Yeah.
isn't too far over budget.
No, it's not too bad, but I think at this point, definitely important that y'all, just go check out the previous video if you want to. I think we've talked about a lot of different things people can do here. I'd recommend that you join the credit community Discord that's linked down below once again, so you can talk to us on a more personal level on a day-to-day basis, as well as just be a part of a community that's really awesome, especially now when Reddit's kind of down. But it's the main 2 things I can think of right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check out that first video. And then do we know what we're going to talk about for next week? Do we already have an outline? Maybe a little teaser hint?
For next week, I don't think we do for next week, actually, unless I'm wrong. But we do have some video topic ideas.
We have a couple things listed down.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know whenever that video is about to come out what we're talking about.
Yeah. Next week we'll have it prepared for the following week.
Yes. Our third one we'll have it prepared for our fourth. We're still new to this. It's just episode 2.
Exactly right. But Mark, it was always a pleasure. Everybody, thank you for watching
always,
and listening.
Spencer. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Check out our main channels. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well.
Yep.
See you guys in the next one.